Hey guys, I have a book called Punctuation Takes a Vacation. The reason I have this book is because today's lesson is actually about proofreader's marks, and I thought you guys might enjoy something a little bit different. Okay, let's start with our book. Day after day, the punctuation marks showed up in Mr. Wright's classroom. Day after day, they did their jobs. They put up with being erased and replaced and corrected and ignored and moved around. Then, on the hottest, stickiest day the class had ever seen, right in the middle of a lesson about commas, Mr. Wright mopped his forehead and said, "Let's give punctuation a vacation." Look at him. Whew. He looks like he's been working hard. As the kids cheered and headed for the playground to cool off, the punctuation marks stared at one another in disbelief. "Is this the thanks we get?" asked the question mark. "Well," huffed an exclamation point. Now, said a comma. "We should take a vacation," said a period. "They'll soon learn how much they need us." "It's 11 o'clock now," said a colon. "Let's leave at 11:02. "Great," said an exclamation point. "Don't leave without us," yelled the apostrophes. Whoosh, punctuation rushed out the door. Whoosh, they rushed back in to grab the quotation marks, who were too busy talking to pay attention. You see the quotation marks over here. Yakety yak and blah, blah, blah. OU quotation marks. When Mr. Wright's class returned from the playground, they couldn't wait to find what happened in Chapter 4 of their book, Ace Scooper, Dog Detective. Mr. Wright opened his mouth to read aloud, but then he stopped and stared. "This is weird. The punctuation is missing. Uh-oh, where could it be? Yikes, maybe punctuation took a vacation. We are in big trouble now." Looks like a big run-on sentence to me. There's no punctuation. That's a problem. No punctuation is a problem. Mr. Wright was right. Nothing made sense without punctuation. A couple days later, the school secretary delivered a small bundle of postcards to Mr. Wright's class. They were postmarked "Take a Break, Lake." And it looks like those punctuation marks were taking a break, and look at those letters that were sent. Go ahead and pause the video and read those. See if you can find out which punctuation marks sent these letters. Oh, and here's some more letters from the punctuation marks. See if you can find out which punctuation marks sent which letters. Those silly punctuation marks. Here's some more letters from the punctuation marks. These are some pretty funny letters. Do you think those students are missing their punctuation marks? I know I would be missing my punctuation marks if my punctuation marks left. The kids guessed who wrote the postcards, and they wanted to write back, but they couldn't write without punctuation. The best they could do was borrow some from Mr. Ringo's class next door, where punctuation seemed to be running wild. I guess those punctuation marks were not following the rules. So I guess there were periods and commas and question marks all over the place where there shouldn't be. Oh my. you can see Mr. Rango's punctuation marks are not following the punctuation rules. You see dear, comma, punctuation. Well, there's supposed to be a comma after punctuation, not before punctuation. Please come back. We need you. We miss you too. Life at school is difficult without you. We can't do reading, writing, or riddles without punctuation. Chapter 4 of our book, Ace Scooper, doesn't make sense. We will never take punctuation for granted again. Won't you please come back before 10:00 on Friday? Mr. Wright says punctuation. Please come home. Sincerely, Mr. Wright's class. And they sent this in an envelope to Punctuation Take a Break Lake. Do you think the punctuation's going to come back? We'll see. So the punctuation marks returned to Mr. Wright's classroom to do the jobs only they could do. Mr. Rango's unruly punctuation scrambled back to their own classroom. Mr. Rango's punctuation marks are pretty crazy. We have so much to tell you. Who did you miss the most? It's good to be back in Mr. Wright's class. It looks like that's said by the period, question mark, and the exclamation point. And they're all saying the sentence. So period saying a declarative sentence, the question mark saying an interrogative sentence, and the exclamation point is saying, of course, an exclamatory sentence. Commas, periods, exclamation points, question marks, colons, apostrophes, quotation marks. Take your places. 10 a.m. Time to study us. Hooray for punctuation! I hope you guys enjoyed this book. I really liked it because it had a lot to do with punctuation, and I know that's something that we kind of are going over a lot in language class. I hope you guys enjoyed this book.